Okay, for all your RadRover enthusiasts out there, I thought I'd give you an update what I've done to my bike as far as new accessories and features and things I've done to my bike. I pretty much got it to my liking. The only thing I'm waiting on right now is the shorty fenders and my rack. But I'm going to give you an update what I've done so far. You notice I put street tires on it. I got rid of these. The reason why I went with these is because it gives me a smoother ride and it's much quieter to the road. See, there's a thorn. I'm going to pull that out. There it went. I haven't had a flat tire on this thing since I put the street tires on with the liners and slime. It's important that you put the slime in as well as the liners because you're still vulnerable to flats on the sidewall here. I've had it happen to me, so be aware of that. Just because you have liners doesn't mean you won't get flats from thorns. So, and if you do decide to put in the slime, you'll get an 8-ounce bottle and put 4 ounces in this one and 4 ounces in the back. That's half and half. It's recommended for the fat tires. Normally a regular bike such as this one with a 2.125 wide tire and tube, it's recommended 2 ounces. But with the fatter tire you need more. It's worth the extra weight as far as I'm concerned, because I put 45 miles on this bike, and the first 45 miles I got on this bike I've had 2 flat tires. Of course I wasn't running any protection, just riding the bike. So 45 miles, 2 flat tires, not good ratio. Now I got 277 miles with no flat tires whatsoever. So I'm very pleased with that. Also, the street tires seem to freewheel better than the knobbies on pavement. As far as goes for dirt, these tires are just fine in the dirt. It depends what kind of riding you're doing. If you're doing hard riding, I suggest you keep your knobbies. But if you're just cruise riding, you're not riding hard, these will be fine. As far as soft sand goes, the best thing you can do for soft sand with these tires is drop the tire pressures to about 18 to 15 pounds, especially in real deep sand. 18 pounds should be about right. So that covers the tire part. You notice I put a front bag on my bike that covers up all these ugly wires in here. This is made by Roswell. What I like about this, has plenty of room in here, has some side bags, and what's really nice is the length of the tie-ons to the bike. They're the cinch type buckles, and the straps are long enough where you can actually tie it on there without any problems. It rides on there great. The other thing I done, I put on a Toptik, I think it's called Toptik, accessory handlebar tube. Way worth the money. That way I can put my light on there, and anything, or you know, whatever you want to put on there, you can put that on there. And of course I got the I don't know what they call that, guru light, which I want to point out something about this light. I bought the new pack. This is if you look at the 2 battery packs, this is the one that came with the light that's on the bike. You notice the other battery pack is bigger. The reason why it's bigger because it has 1200 milliamps, which increases your light from 6,000 lums to 12,000 lums. It's brighter and it lasts longer. This also has the USB port for the new light. I got the new light that you can hook up, or you can hook up your old light to it. It'll still work with your old light as well. So you don't need to buy this light, but you can buy the battery it'll make your existing light up to 12,000 looms as well. So just thought I'd share that with you. What else? I put this on the 2-bar bag. I like the idea. It has storage on each side. The only thing is, you got to be careful of is you need to equalize it. If you put like your toolkit on one side and hardly anything on the other side, it tends to want to I don't know if I can make it do that. It's not that bad, but as you're riding, it gets a little bit worse. So you need to equalize the weight. And this is also made by Roswell. This holds the phone. The only thing I don't like about this part is once you put the phone in, you gotta do this zipper up instead of doing Velcro. I don't know why they didn't do Velcro. It's really a pain in the butt to get the zipper to zip up. But once you get the phone in, you can interface the phone even with your gloves on. So that's kind of nice. The only bad thing is during the day, if you get a lot of glare, you can't see your phone. So, but generally speaking, I use this for my Bluetooth. This is made by Jackey. This is like 20, I believe it's 20 to 18 watts. It has a lot of deep sound to it. I like it. It has a bicycle, it has a camera mount basically. So if you have a camera mount, it'll mount right onto a camera mount. You can unscrew it. Or you can just take it off here and pull it out. What else? I put a bicycle pump on here. I didn't use the original bracket that came with it because it mounts on your where you put your water bottle at. It has the same hole design, but obviously I can't put my water bottle up here, so I had to sacrifice it down here. So I use these cinch straps, and you can buy these cinch straps different sizes and different colors. And kind of show you some of these cinch wraps. I think they're pretty cool. This is what I used for the bicycle pump. They also include in the kit some of these. These are just what I like about these is they're removable and reusable. So if you want to cinch up some of your cables, get rid of those cable ties and use these. They're much better. You can cut them to any length you need. These will work to cinch up your cables, so that works good. The next thing I did, you notice this seat is made by Bikeroo, and the reason why I went with this seat, this is the original seat that came with the bike, and I'm kind of old and I'm kind of fussy. I like the idea that it has the handle here so you can pick up the bike, but the only problem is this seat is highly uncomfortable for me. I'm fussy about my buttocks. I'm 65 years old and I don't like having to stand up on the bike all the time to absorb the road. So then I decided to buy this seat because according to what it was saying that these are shock absorbers. They're not. They're just rubber mounts. It's just as bad as this seat. The only difference is this seat has a little bit more cushion to it, but you can see it's basically the same size. So I wasn't getting the relief I was looking for. So I went with this seat. Now if you look, I can get you down underneath here. You see these actually have springs in them. So you have a shock absorber in the front, but you have a hard tail in the back. This absorbs a lot of that. It's a more smoother ride. It has a fatter seat for your buttocks. So I've ridden at least 20 miles on this bike with that seat, and I don't feel uncomfortable whatsoever. So that's a good seat for me anyway. Let's talk about mirrors. I decided to put mirrors on my bike. I suggest you at least get one on the left side so you're riding with the direction of traffic. You can always see what's behind you. I prefer that. These happen to come in a pair. The only thing I don't like about them, this is all plastic. Eventually these are going to break. But for what I paid for them, they work good. They're sturdy. They don't vibrate a lot. I got a good view of field of vision behind me. So I'm happy with these lights. Now let's talk about locks. Man, I'm telling you, I wish I'd never bought this lock. But basically, I use 2 locks. I put them in this bag here and I take them with me. Just in case something happens and I have to lock up the bike and abandon it for whatever reason. But generally when I go in and even to a liquor store or whatever, I lock it up. And what I do is I use this one as a regular lock. And it's long enough where I can go through the seat up in here, through the bike frame, through the back tire, and hook it onto a good post or bike rack. And then in the front, this one is an alarm kind of lock, has an alarm to it. And then what I do is I run this alarm lock from the front tire to the frame. This alarm will go off if you start screwing with the bike. The only thing I don't like about this lock, it doesn't have Bluetooth capability. So I'm looking at a different lock that is louder in decibels. I think this thing's only like about 20 at the most. I like to have something like around 110, so it's not very loud. I'll put this camera down and show you how that works in a few minutes. So the crime here in Casa Grande is a little bit higher than I thought it was. I have 1 in 29 chances of this bike being stolen. So you should check your crime rates in your area, and if you're above that, it's a good idea to have some kind of alarm on your bike. The whole idea here is they want your bike, they're going to get it. But the whole idea is deterrence. Would they rather go through the trouble by stealing this or stealing something else that's a little bit easier to steal? So that's the whole idea behind that. Okay, this lock, once you plug it in, like so, it beeps. That means it's alarmed. Now it takes about 15 seconds for it to set. So after about 15 seconds, if someone comes along and starts messing with the bike, I don't know if it's going to work or not. See, sometimes there it goes. There it goes. So that's as loud as it gets. I didn't bring my keys, so I can't turn it off now. But that's it. So you see it went off. Now if you kept messing with it, it's going to go off and stay. It's kind of like a warning. But if you keep messing with it, when it goes off, it'll just keep going. So it's just a little deterrence. I think it's something that most people would probably not prefer to mess with it. They'd rather move on to something else that's easier to steal. So just a little deterrence. But I am looking at a different lock, like I said, that has a Bluetooth. It's a cable lock, but it goes to your smartphone, and your smartphone will go off to let you know someone's messing with your bike. So, and it's a little bit better to lock as well. It also has some other features on it. So when you walk up to your bike, within 5 feet, it'll automatically unlock for you, so you don't have to do anything. Just pull it out and put it in your bag or whatever. That's why I got my bag, basically, is to hold my locks. So I use double locks. Can't hurt. The other thing is, I bought me a helmet, a new helmet. This particular one has a magnetic visor. that you can put on like so. I have problems, even though I wear glasses, prescription glasses, I have problems with the wind getting in my eyes and make my eyes water. This prevents that from happening. Now, the only problem with this visor is at night, it's hard to see. So they offer a different visor, this yellow visor, and that's for night riding. And that really eliminates the road real well. I like this. It also has an adjustment on the back. It's easy to adjust. The liners are removable. They're Velcro, so you can wash them if you need to. It's a pretty cool helmet. I like it. It also will allow you to strap on little lights. Like I got these tail lights. These are rechargeable. And it's low. I like these lights. They're made by Apex or something like that. And there's 3 different modes there of brightness. Then regular strobe, slow, fast strobe, SOS strobe, and then back to the low setting. So I use that on the back of my helmet, and let me just turn it on real quick. Especially when it's on bright, you can pretty much see it from almost from that angle to that angle. So no excuse for somebody running into you. Now, talk about phones. If there's anybody in the world that's notorious for destroying phones, it'd be me. Because I used to work for the studios, and I'm always up on ladders, and I always had my phone in my tool belt, because I'm always getting calls from the drapery department to go to other stages. So my wife bought me this phone, and she bought me it with the life proof. What's nice about this is it's drop proof. I've dropped this off of a 12-foot ladder onto a stage floor, and I've done it before with other phones, and they broke. This one is almost indestructible. It's also waterproof. I wouldn't suggest you submerge it in water, but if you accidentally drop it like in a toilet or something, you can grab it out of there real quick. I've done that by accident, and it still works. I've had this phone. It's a Samsung 5, so that kind of gives you an idea how long I've had it. I've had it a long time. So if you're having problems with phones breaking, I suggest this life-proof cover or something similar to it. I think that's about it. Now we'll just talk a little bit about cleaning and maintenance. I bought this little chain cleaner. Basically, you pull this off, and this comes up, and you fill this reservoir with your cleaner, and you slip it over the chain, you put that back on, slip that on, and you just reverse the chain, and it cleans the chain, and it does a good job. And then you just re-oil it with this. This here is something I haven't used yet, but it's called Gear Floss, and I thought it was worth trying it out. It's for cleaning your clusters, getting in between here, getting all the dirt and grime out, because that's what will wear your chain and your gears and your cluster. It seemed like a good idea, so I bought that. I haven't used it yet. My primary way of cleaning my bike is basically this is just water, because you don't want to be hosing this bike down on a high pressure hose. It's not recommended, and they won't cover your bike if you screw it up. So what I use, if I got mud on it, I just squirt the water onto the mud, so it's more direct. I can direct the water where I want it, and I take a rag and I wipe it down. And then I use this stuff. This is Goo Gone. Now, they used to have Goo Off, which is basically the same principle. This is a citrus kind of a cleaner, has an oil base to it. It works real good. It brings the luster back out into your paint. Vinyl, plastic, leather, it don't matter. It brings luster back out. I'll just rub that in there real good. Oop. The alarm went off. So we know the alarm works. It'll go off in a minute. But you know, you wipe it down real good, and that it's kind of like Armor All, but it's better than Armor All. It's good for your tires. It's good for your plastic, rubber, you name it. It works really good. So I like this. What I can do is I can saturate a terry cloth rag, such as this one, and just saturate it real good. Just get it real wet, about that much, and this will be good to wipe down the whole bike. So you can just wipe it down once and walk away. Simple as that. So it works real good. So I recommend this. I'm sure there's bike cleaners out there. I'm sure they're a lot more expensive. You can get this at any of your like Home Depot or Lowe's. They also have a big bottle that you can refill. I think that covers just about everything that I wanted to cover. Okay, so another thing I wanted to mention was that I changed my speed to 40 kilometers an hour. It was set at 32. It was set at 32 right there, which is equals to about 19.88 miles an hour, 20. And I increased it to 40. And I also increased, sorry about that. I also increased my rim size to 28. When I was set at 26, I was only getting maybe 21.4 miles an hour. Increasing it to 28 made it go faster. Now it goes to 24.5 miles an hour. So it's like 3 miles an hour faster if you set it at 28. So that worked out real well, except for I'm not sure about the mileage. I'm going to check on that mileage, see how accurate it is. But that's basically what I did, and I set it at 40. And I set my light setting, my back light setting to 1 to help cut down on the amount of juice it's pulling. As far as mileage goes, setting it at a higher range, I haven't had any problems getting 20 to 30 miles out of this bike. In fact, I still had a couple bars left over. The key to it is use a combination. Like I'll go to pedal 0, and I'll just pedal the bike and use the throttle as a you know, to help me along. But I try to keep the watts down under 200, 175 to 135. That gets me about 12-15 miles an hour, so I can rest. Another thing I've done, I ordered that strap that has the thumb screw, the thumb throttle on it. It's rather expensive, but in the meantime, what I did, I took one of these cinch straps and I wrapped it around here, which gives me more surface area. It's easier to, it's easier to turn. I don't get cramps in my hands like I did just by simply increasing the size of this. So I'm going to try that thumb throttle. If it works, great. If it doesn't work the way I'm hoping it work, then what I'll probably do is I'll take all this off and slip me something over here that increases that size a little bit better, so it's more comfortable. But just by making this, increasing the size of this, works really well. I didn't get any cramps in my hands yesterday, and I took it for, I don't know, like a 15-mile ride, and I was using the throttle quite a bit, so I wasn't getting any cramps in my hands, because this thing really gives you a lot of cramps because it's so small. You have to grip on it so hard. This, you don't have to grip on it that hard because it's bigger. I just thought I'd point that out. So just a simple cinch strap around it did the job for me.